It's 12 o'clock noon, time for our monthly Bradley County Regional Planning Commission. Thank you all for coming. We'll get started. We have one item on the agenda. First thing I'd like to ask for is approval of the previous minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Mel. Would you call the roll, please, sir, for the vote? Oh, you don't have one? Okay. Randy, Howard? Here. Are you? I'm here. Okay. Are you in for the minutes? Yes. Okay. Keith?
Yes.
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 Okay. Minutes passed unanimous. Thank you. We do have one correction on the current item that we have up for review. There was a typo error. This should have read going from FAR to I-1 General Industrial. Everything is marked correctly on the maps, but on our sheet that we have, it does say R1, but it should say I-1. This is the rezoning request. Lynn Jones on Michigan Avenue and Wilkinson Road. You can see the tax map and parcel numbers from FAR to I-1 General Industrial. You can see we have maps and things that you can see the areas. Is there anyone to speak on behalf of the project? Would you state your name, please, sir?
My name is Travis Henry, and I'm here on behalf of Lynn Jones, who's the owner of the property. Just some background about this request. This property consists of approximately 89 acres. It's located off of Michigan Avenue and Wilkinson Road. Of course, you all may be familiar with the location of this property. It's about half a mile from the jet port, and it's located directly across the street from the Formulated Solutions building, where there have been industrial use for a long time, pretty much my entire life. Directly across the street has been an industrial building. It is just down from the HL South building and the Voice of Evangelism building as well. My client purchased this property in December of 2023. And some of you all may have been familiar with this property. It was previously brought up for a request for rezoning by the prior owners. The Calfees, they brought this request at that time, and it's my understanding there wasn't a lot of information that they provided about the intended use for this property. And so at that point, it did not pass when it was brought up previously. Since then, my client has purchased the property, and we put together a site plan, a proposal for the use of this. And I can go over that here in just a moment. But currently, it is zoned FAR, or agricultural. And my client is seeking to use this almost as it's light industrial, but we're seeking really a mixed use of this overall property. 60.79 acres would be rezoned to light industrial. In that, the intended use would include a recreational baseball facility, a training facility that would be located off of Michigan and Wilkinson on that corner. And it would also include warehouses to be built further back behind that and located there at that intersection. And then the balance of the property would be reserved for residential development in the future. My client is fine with putting down private restrictions on the balance of the property that it be used for those intended purposes as well. So that is his plan. We have that there on the site plan, and we've tried to be as specific as possible about the location of those buildings and where the proposed buildings would be located and where the entrance and the exit would be for those as well. This is going to be an approximately $70 million development. Okay, $70 million is what my client is prepared to invest in this property, which are going to bring jobs. It's going to bring additional tax revenue and tax base for the county. We understand that there were previous concerns that had been expressed. Of course, you know, across the street of Wilkinson, D.R. Horton has a development that is there. My client has met with D.R. Horton. We've had conversations with them. It is my understanding that they do not have an objection to this request and for this to be rezoned this way. And so with that assurance, my client has brought this request before you today. So I want to just address, you know, the elephant in the room here of what the most obvious concern would be for this development is potentially truck traffic. I get it. Everybody wants to be concerned about the safety aspect for this because Michigan Avenue is unique in all of Bradley County. From the time I grew up here, it was industrial. I mean, there's industrial right across the street. There's commercial just down from this. It's right next door to the industrial park for Bradley County. So this was always my entire life. It was industrial property. Now, over the years, there have been residential property that has built in this. But as Doug Berry with the Chamber has indicated to us privately, he said, look, this was always industrial and residential has moved in there. And so that is a concern. It's a legitimate question. What about the truck traffic and how does it affect the residential property? Well, remember, D.R. Horton, who is investing a lot of money right next door, again, they do not object to this, and they have given us that assurance. But currently, it's important to remember this is zoned FAR, or agricultural, all right? And so that use, that zone by itself, already allows uses that would consist of truck traffic. For example, we can go out there today and put poultry houses on this property. It's perfectly within the zoning. We've looked at that. That is an option. That would necessitate truck traffic, okay? So regardless of what decision we make with regard to this request, it's not going to limit truck traffic on this intersection. There already is truck traffic on Michigan Avenue. It's all over Michigan Avenue. And so my client has a history of developing quality commercial developments throughout Bradley County. He's done it for years. And every project he's done well. And it's been a win not just for him, but for the community as well. He's invested in traffic lights that he personally has paid for at the intersection of 20th Street. He paid for that light that was there. And so he's committed to the community as well. And so this could be a potential win for the community, and he wants to do it well. It will increase the tax base, and it will mean jobs for Bradley County. And so with that, we're committed to doing this and doing it in a way that's respectful for how this property is already being used. And we think it's an incredible opportunity for Bradley County and its growth. With that, any questions that you all have?
Any questions from the committee? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Henry.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of the project? Okay. This time we'll open the floor for anyone that is opposed to the project. Yes, sir. Would you come up and state your name? I've said this without my microphone on, but I don't think Travis heard me anyway. So you have 5 minutes. We give everybody 5 minutes, and he met his. Thank you.
And I don't have a lot to say other than my name is Kelly Martin. I'm from D.R. Horton Land Acquisitions and Entitlements, city of, just down the road here in Chattanooga. Used to be on the other side of the table, somebody like Bentley, but I've moved to the private sector. But that being said, I can affirm that D.R. Horton is not opposed to the rezoning request as it's presented. We have already had those conversations, and I just did want to affirm what was previously said. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Is there anyone that'd like to speak against the project rezoning? Yes, ma'am. Would you come up and state your name? You have 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
Tony Krantz. I'm with Peachtree Point Manufactured Housing Community. This property backs to us. I was here in front of you guys 10 months ago or a year ago, whenever this was before you, for rezoning then. I guess our concern is the size of the warehouses, 100,000 square feet each. What are they putting in those? How do we have assurances that what they're going to put in those are not marijuana grows? How do we have assurances that, there's not going to be something that isn't healthy for the surrounding area? If you look at the map that they gave us, this rezoning request map, it doesn't accurately depict exactly what is happening in that surrounding area. If you look at the little orange along Michigan Avenue, that's our parcel. We're all residential. If you look around the back of that, it's yellow, it's residential. In the blue, right on the other side of Wilkinson is D.R. Horton's property. That's all residential. All the way around this property is residential. How do we assure what they're putting there is okay and safe and, you know, that they don't get to put something in there that reeks of marijuana. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere that's happening. How do we know what they're going to put there? And what are those, you know? Do you have control of that once it's rezoned? Or they can put anything there. They don't have to go by this plan. They can put anything they want. How do we stop that? Anybody?
Well, let me address one thing. First off, marijuana is illegal.
Yeah.
So they
I-
cannot have marijuana grows in there legally. They
Well-
can't do anything that would break the law. That's not our portion. And what they do in there is really not all we do. We only look at rezoning of the property, not the upholding of the commercial
I
laws or things like that. So we can't answer your question. What can we keep them from putting in there?
Okay, so they can put anything they want in there, and you don't care that there's residential all the way
Anything
around
that's
it?
legal, yes.
Well, I understand, but there are dispensaries, so, and the gentleman here said that it was gonna be considered light industrial, but that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for general industrial. There is a difference. So which one is it? He's claiming light, but is it light or is it general?
The rezoning request is general.
Yes, he stated light. That's not exactly correct. So that's one of my concerns. Light may be a little bit easier to live with than a transfer station and what they were talking about before with huge trucks coming and going all hours of the day and night. Just because it's what they propose doesn't mean that's exactly what they'll put once it's rezoned. My question is, why isn't the county buying the property? With all that residential around there, why doesn't the county buy the property and put in ballparks and playgrounds and fire and police substations, things that would actually make a better solution for the area? Why are we going to allow them to put 100,000 square foot warehouses?
Do you support a tax increase to do all those county things?
If it's going to benefit the residents, yes. And the tax base has been increased by all the new residential properties that have gone in with D.H. Horton. So yes, I would if that were the case. But that's not the case. So it's just about money. You're going to allow them come in and bring in, you know, millions of dollars in taxes, because I guess that's what's more important than the actual people of the community. And what happens when, first, and the other thing is, I just want to say is, I'm not so sure that without a survey, where their property line is correct on this little map. So that's going to need to be looked at, because where our property line is, looks like it overlaps where they have the little red property line marked. And that is an access road to our land, to our back property. So that needs to be looked at before anything is approved. So that's it.
Okay, thank you for your time. Was there any comments or questions? Commissioner Rogers, did you have something?
Ma'am, do you live in that residential place that you said you were an owner? Do you live in the 4th district in this area? So you do not? Okay. Okay. So, but you are not a resident of Bradley County. I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm not a resident. And so, in fact, for me, why would it even bother me? I'm just collecting rent, right?
No, ma'am, just
But the
curious.
truth is that I do care, because I care about the people who live in our community.
I appreciate that.
Okay,
I just was
so
asking because
it's-
of the tax increase
not
and
gonna
the
change
marijuana growth
Yeah, it's not gonna
questions and
change
statements. I
my-
just
The
didn't
amount
know.
of rent I collect at all. What it's going to do is harm the people who live there. So,
Just didn't know with the questions about the marijuana growth and having marijuana facilities
I'm
inside of Bradley County. I just didn't know if being a resident of Bradley County or being a resident of the state of Tennessee, knowing that you can't legally grow
well, there are
marijuana.
dispensaries. Is that correct?
I do not think so. I believe not for
I've
medical, not for marijuana. There's not.
Medical.
Not for
No,
medical
ma'am.
either.
Not
No
the state of
medical either?
Tennessee.
Not
No,
in the
Then
state
ma'am.
of
that's
Tennessee.
great. The other thing is why I am not trusting that they would put exactly on that property what they said is because when we left here last time, they went and put big signs up that said chicken house coming soon to intimidate the homeowners, you know, in front of that property. That's a pretty lousy. Anyways,
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak against the zoning request? Okay. Is there any discussion among the committee?
All I'm gonna say is, over there at the Bendix property where, Lynn built those new buildings over there, I mean, they look great. He's done a good job, and he's leased them out to Little Debbie. I think there's a tractor equipment place that's got stuff stored in there, so I don't think you're gonna have to worry about bad stuff being in there or something's gonna be harmful. And as far as the traffic, I go by that property probably 3 or 4 times a day. I've never one time, I'll just go right by there. I work for the gas company and I'm by there and never had any problem whatsoever with, and I live close by and I don't hear any racket. So, I mean, that's all I got to say about that.
Does anyone else have any comments?
I need to
Commissioner Rogers?
I need to recuse myself. I own the property right across the road, so I'll just recuse myself.
I do have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Travis, this on this list it says sports complex. Could you explain a little bit more about what that is and
Hey,
what you
Travis.
guys are doing there?
Absolutely. So it will be a private baseball training building for folks that want to train in baseball. For young people that want to get better at that, they'll be able to come there. And so it's like an indoor baseball facility. Is that correct? And softball as well. Yep.
Wonderful. Sounds something great for our community.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay. Oh, yes, ma'am. Come up, state your name, please. I'm sorry, I didn't see you raise your hand back there. Sorry. You have 5 minutes.
It won't take long. Yes. My name is Jan Luttrell. I live in Lone Oak. Okay, I live there. Do I want chicken houses? I don't. We sold our property in Ottawa. We are retired. This is the last home we ever want to buy. And for somebody to throw a sign up that says, that's intimidating. Right, it's very intimidating. And it scares me. I don't have any more money to go out and buy another piece. This is where I am. Please, whatever you have to do, just be nice about it. I love the idea that he's wanting to put something in there for the children, ballparks, things like that. And that's what we need. Look at putting an area over there for growing, not growing marijuana, but growing plants. You know, let people have a little plot to do their gardening or whatever. We don't have much room in our yards for that. I don't anymore. But it would be nice to be able to rent out a little piece of plot over there and maybe do some gardening. That's all I have to say. But thank you for listening.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your comments. Is there any other discussion amongst the board? Any questions or comments from the board? I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All right. Mr. Bentley, would you?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Mr. Griffith? Mr. Mantooth?
He's
Recuse
recused.
myself.
He's recused. Yes.
Haywood?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously with one recusal. All right. Thank you all. We also, on our agenda, we have a Planning Commission training session, 2 coming up on the 28th and 29th of October. We need to be sure and let Bentley know, if you would today, which one of those you can attend.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good information. There's a lot of knowledgeable people that are going to be there presenting.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else for the good of the order of the committee? If not, we stand adjourned. Hey, thanks.
Hey, how you doing?